The story of the Chera kingdom starts way back in the deep past of South India, you know. It was one of the three big kingdoms in the old Tamil country. Rivers, mountains, a long welcoming coast. Historians place Chera prominence around the 3rd century BCE. Their history runs like a long, winding river for over 1,000 years, until their decline around the 12th century CE. We split their rule into two main periods. Early Cheras, flourishing during the Sangam period. Sangam period, c. 300 BCE, 300 CE. Later Cheras, resurgence from the 9th to 12th centuries CE. Names and dates help us navigate this span. One early king, Uthian Cheralathan, probably c. 2nd century BCE. Another early king, Nedum Cheralathan, famed for victories. The Chera kingdom was run by a system that balanced the power of one ruler with the good advice of councils and the freedom of local towns. At the very top of this system was the king. He had all the power in the kingdom. He was the main leader of the army. He was the highest judge in the land. He was the most important person in all state events. The king's court, called the Durbar, was the center of how things were run. Every day the king held court to hear requests and complaints. People could ask for fairness directly from the ruler. That made the king's role as protector stronger. The Chera king didn't rule alone. His power was guided and limited by ministers and advisors. Beyond the main court, administration had multiple levels. The Manram was the local village council. Religion was deeply woven into the everyday life of the Chera kingdom. The people and their rulers believed in many different spiritual ideas, with Hinduism being the main one. Worshipping ancestors was a common and very important practice. They also worshipped different nature spirits and local gods, often in simple open-air shrines found in sacred groves or under important trees. Over time, Hindu ideas and gods became more popular, and the Chera rulers especially favored the Shaiva tradition. Many of the later Chera kings were devoted Shaivites and paid for the building of amazing stone temples dedicated to Shiva. Temples became social, economic, and cultural centers. Buddhism and Jainism found a welcoming home in the Chera lands. Foreign faiths brought by traders, like early Christianity and Judaism, took root in the port towns. Practices changed over time, from natural shrines and hero stones to grand, finely carved stone temples that stood as symbols of devotion and wealth. The Chera kingdom's best thing was its long coastline, and its biggest strength was how good it was at sea. The Cheras were, most of all, a powerful sea nation, and their history is tied to the story of old international trade. They connected producers in the east with buyers in the west. The best part of the Chera trading network was the famous port of Muziris. Located near the mouth of the Periyar River, Muziris was a thriving city known across the ancient world. Roman sailors and merchants crossed the ocean on monsoon winds to get there. Roman writings describe gold and silver coins flowing in, and ships leaving packed with Indian spices. Other important ports, Tondi, Musiri, and Nelsinda, dotted the coast and kept trade humming. Merchants from Greece, Egypt, Arabia, and later China made Chera harbor's global crossroads. The Chera kingdom's success was built on rich lands and the skills of its people, you know. Farming fed everyone and underpinned the economy. In the Western Ghats grew black pepper, black gold, cardamom, cinnamon, and ginger. The goods from Chera ports were famed across the ancient world. Beyond spices came fine fabrics, cotton, beryls, pearls, ivory, tropical wood, even peacocks. A smart internal network moved goods by river and road to ports and warehouses. From hills to harbor, trade created thousands of jobs. Economic success boosted culture. Kings funded poets, musicians, and dancers in their courts. The Sangam writings give a priceless look at rich towns, brave kings, and daily life. They speak of bustling markets, far-off ships, and the kindness of rulers. This writing tradition, backed by trade wealth, is one of the Chera's greatest cultural legacies. The political situation was often rough, shaped by the three crowned kingdoms, the Cheras, the Cholas, and the Pandyas. They competed for land, ports, and prestige. One famous fight was at Vanchi, where the Chera king was beaten by Karikala Chola. Defeats could mean lost land and respect. Yet diplomacy and alliances were constant. Enemies could unite against a common foe, sealed by royal marriages that brought temporary peace. It was a shifting dance of diplomacy and war, shaping Chera's strategy for centuries. Centuries later, the Kulasekara family revived the Chera name around 800 CE. The might of the Cheras, an army of land and sea. To thrive, the Cheras kept a strong, skilled army, with infantry at its core. Swords, spears, and bows armed trained foot soldiers. Horse riders added speed for flanking attacks. Elephants, the heavy tanks of the ancient world, smashed formations and spread fear. Their numbers showed a king's power. With a long coast, naval power was vital. Fleets protected sea lanes from pirates and kept trade flowing. They could move troops and blockade enemy ports. The military was also a symbol of royal authority at home. Victories were celebrated in songs. Heroes were honored. Land and sea strength defended borders, protected commerce, and projected power. The Chera kingdom disappeared from the political map, its power breaking apart from internal strife and rising neighbors. By the 12th century CE, one state gave way to many. Yet their imprint endures in culture, economy, and identity, especially in Kerala. They pioneered international trade, making the Malabar Coast a world hub. Arab, Chinese, and later European traders all sought its spices and riches. Today's outward-looking Kerala echoes those cosmopolitan ports. Temple building and the arts flourished under Chera patronage. Sangam poetry is a treasure of world literature. Their Manram tradition foreshadows local self-governance ideals. Key figure: Kulasekara Alwar, king and revered holy man, ruling from Mahodayapuram. Later, kings used the title Cheraman Perumal, tying throne and tradition.